And of course, we have Christopher Dring here saying, why the gradual death of the console exclusive makes business sense. Remember, some time ago, the same guy was talking about how Xbox not having exclusives could mean the end of Xbox as it loses its identity and it doesn't make business sense, and how Xbox is, spending less, putting less focus onto Game Pass. I think that showcase has pretty much proved them wrong on multiple accounts. And of course, now he's moving the goalposts so far outfield with this. And it's a complete U-turn to what he was saying when it came to Xbox, right? It's a complete, now it makes business sense. But when Xbox was doing it, it was doom and gloom. It doesn't make sense. It's going to be the end of Xbox. This will put them out of the market. This is going to make them third party. But now, when PlayStation are doing it, Mr. Chris String here thinks this makes business sense. All they're doing, as Xbox Series here is telling you, is they are preparing you. PS5 is going multiplat bit by bit. And Lego Horizon Adventures is only the first step. Now, do you remember how people said when Horizon Zero Dawn went to PC, it's a Horizon game as well, right? It was like the Decima engine, it made sense, it was an experimental thing, and then, sometime later the whole slate went. You remember that? It all started with Horizon for PC. It's really iconic and ironic that it starts with Horizon here. It's quite funny that it is starting with Horizon again. And if history is anything to go by, that's it. This is the beginning of a domino effect. Of course, you do have a bunch of people out there who are really coping and saying that they don't care if the game goes to the Switch because they don't see the Switch as a rival. At the end of the day, they are already trying to convince themselves and damage control and find reasons as to why the game going to Switch and not the PS4, which is Sony's own damn console, is okay. Sony is essentially putting this game, by their own choice, onto an Etch-a-Sketch Switch and not on the PS4 Pro, which is a more powerful console. You can clearly see here who Sony is actually prioritizing when it comes to their games. They're not prioritizing you as a PlayStation customer. Oh, no, 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 no. They are saying, if you want to buy this game, you upgrade and pay $560 to play this game. Or you can play it on the Switch, which you already probably have. Either way, we are not going to be supporting the PS4. Even though the Switch is a weaker console and has support. But it makes business sense, right? It makes business sense to keep it off a console platform that has more consoles and more players than the PS5. I'm just saying. I mean, it makes business sense, right, Chris? Right? I'm sure it does. But for those of you that were still hanging on as to this being a Lego thing and this being, forced onto them like the MLB contract, which Sony did have the choice to walk away from and not have the PlayStation logo brandished everywhere. They had that choice, but they decided that they wanted to still keep the license and, make it multi-platform. So that, once again, was a choice that Sony made. They could have easily walked away from it and washed their hands, but they didn't choose to do that. They were perfectly okay with making the game multi-platform, once again showing that they are a third-party company. And as you can see here, I keep mentioning it, but we want this to be for everyone. And that is a Sony Guerrilla developer. It's pretty awesome when they finally embrace reality. But this one over here is the one, in my opinion, that actually just blows the floodgates wide open. So wide, in fact, that what you should be doing right now is hitting that subscribe button, as I'm getting very close to 7,000 subs. You should be hitting that like button, and you should be hitting that bell to stay up to date with all content I release, especially considering I do podcasts during the week on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and sometimes even on Fridays if there's enough news to go around. So you definitely want to show up for those. But also, we also do the occasional game stream on Fridays where I play the most tumultuously torturous game that the community picks. They watch me as I suffer in pain and agony going through. We've already done Kong, we've already done Gollum. There seems to be more on the horizon for my misfortunes. But that out the way, Team Asobi studio director Nicholas Dorset says he doesn't think it would be a problem if PlayStation wasn't a part of a future Astro game. Now, they decided that they wanted to lean into PlayStation and the franchise for this game, and it was a choice that they made. Now, for all intents and purposes, I actually assumed Astro was a PlayStation IP license, but apparently it is not. Asobi, it's their license, and they've just had a good relationship with Sony. But they are looking at a future game to make it their own standalone because they said the IP is flexible, which means they want it on more platforms so more people can enjoy Astrobot. So not only have they now put Horizon as onto the Switch and gone third party, they decided themselves that they wanted to retain the MLB license and go multi-platform, third party. But now it looks like their treasured Astrobot is also about to go multi-platform. Now, what would be really funny with this one that would absolutely be the icing on the cake, seeing as there's no real contractual ties with PlayStation, is for Phil Spencer to move in and actually have an Astrobot game designed around the Xbox mascots. Can you imagine an Astrobot version of Master Chief, Doom Guy? That would be hilarious, right? So the possibilities are endless. But one thing is for sure, it does look like Astrobot, not this one that's here, which will go on PC really, really soon, considering it's going over to the Switch. And since they want everyone to play, it makes sense for them to go onto the PC, right? It makes sense. So it really looks like that the exclusivity period for this off PC is probably going to be like maybe 2 months, 3 months. Who can tell? But it's not going to be 2-3 years like all their other games. I mean, God of War Ragnarok probably was even less than that. But Team Asobi studio director Nicholas Dorset says he doesn't think it would be a problem. He believes that the game, the IP, and the mascot can stand on its own 2 feet without the need for PlayStation interference or for the PlayStation influence or for the PlayStation characters, despite them using it here. And they said the only reason we used it here is because why not? So there's already, I mean, it's already happening. Games are already now leaving, their beloved partnerships. They're moving away, and it's just really, really interesting to see how once Tim Dog went over to PlayStation, the whole of PlayStation is crumbling. He single-handedly is making PlayStation a third-party studio. Like, what the hell? But hey, don't take my word for it. This dude over here is taking all of this as a win, like Project Latitude, and he's not looking what's happening in his own back garden. Remember, it's only one game. Horizon Lego is the first of many. It always starts with one game. They said the same with PC, remember? And that started with Horizon as well. And just look at the cope. PS games going to Switch, guess what? Not everyone likes to play games at 720p, 30 FPS, even though the Switch has, double the console sales of PlayStation 5? Just saying. In fact, I'm actually curious if it actually has more console sales with the PS4 and 5 combined. That'd be an interesting statistic to find out. Probably the next Nintendo console can't even handle the biggest games. It's more powerful than the Series S with DLSS included, and it is going to have full support for DLSS. So I'm sorry, Master, but it will be pretty powerful. Not even third parties like GTA 6. Most of us don't mind if they all mind, because now they've already started conditioning acceptance. They've already started a conditioning phase of we are okay if it goes third party here and third party there, and then eventually it's going to be third party everywhere, and then they're going to be like, okay, that's fine. But you can already see here that they've got no games. The only games they have are Xbox games, and this is why they're so thirsty for Xbox games. But one of the bigger news is of course, Wario 64 released in this one by Hidetaka Miyazaki. Sony has been trolling PlayStation fans for quite some time with Bloodborne, and Miyazaki says, knows for a fact other From Software devs want a Bloodborne PC port. It's coming. It's coming to PC. It's going to happen. If I say I want one, I'll get in trouble. But it's nothing I'm opposed to. Obviously, as one of the creators of Bloodborne, my personal, pure, honest opinion is I'd love more players to be able to enjoy it, especially as a game that is now coming of age. One of those games of the past that gets lost on older hardware. I think any game like that, it would be nice to have an opportunity for more players to be able to experience that and relive this relic of the past. So as far as I'm concerned, that's definitely not something I'd be opposed to. So in my opinion, I think we're going to see Bloodborne PC port sooner rather than later. Now the question is, will it get ported over to PlayStation 5 as well? That's going to be the big question. At the moment, they're talking about PC port on its own. So, what? They're actually now making their own IPs ported over to PC only? But it's only one game, folks. It's only one game. What? There's a whole list of PlayStation games on PC, like the whole slate? But it's only one game, folks. It's experimental. Right? It's an experimental thing, and it's just one game. It's just one game. You let me know what you think in the comment section below, folks. Is it just one game? Or has the curse started a process that they just, has the curse opened the Pandora's box? You let me know in the comment section below. Let's have that discussion, and I will see you in the next one. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, hit that bell to stay up to date with all content I release, and I will see you in the next one. As always, remain legend.